they're like cussing and stuff. I'm like, oh my god, this is totally not kid appropriate.
All hell, rap motherfuckers get back, snort rails. Kick back with a six-pack, hell, he gon' do what he want, leaving others impaled. A podcast levels far beyond that. This ain't no bullshit, it's marsh pits and all that. Real talk, but it still got tasted. Rat still spill jizz on your faces. Gone ape shit, blaze it and take it in. Rat talks with crack rocks and gin. Metalheads unite with a grin. Goddamn master man, that's real shit now. So open up your mind to smoke a bowl. A bunch of potheads getting stoned, you know how it go. It's the new show on the block. 100% uncut rock top.
Yep, it's another episode of Ratt Talk. How's it going today, guys? You can talk. No, you can talk.
Unlike
yeah,
us, it's going good.
It's going
yeah,
well.
of course. Like I said, we just gotta get right into it.
Okay.
I am your host, Matt the Rat Berdardi. How's it going, everybody? Now I'm talking to everybody, the listeners. Yeah.
See, I thought that's how you started it. All right.
No, I do it the other way. I like to acknowledge the people that are actually here as
Makes
opposed to
sense.
the people that are going to be listening tomorrow. But as you can already tell, I am inebriated. Not inebriated. I'm actually really high right now. I'm sorry, guys. If you haven't noticed yet. I'm pretty sure you noticed when you walked in.
Yeah.
But how's
I've
it going?
also
Yeah.
noticed since I was like a fetus.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what? No, but like you said, we have known each other. Melissa is actually a really good friend of mine, Melissa Brunel. How's it going?
It's going well.
And then Hunter, right? I'm
Hunter.
sorry.
Yeah,
Hunter.
Miller.
See, I've already forgotten everybody that's here.
It's all right.
I'm
We've
sorry.
only done twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for being understanding. But Melissa, how have you been? What do you do? Who are you? Why?
I'm doing well. Who I am is Melissa. What I do is a little bit of everything. I am 4 years strong into the entertainment industry.
4 years? Really? 4 years? Officially 4 years?
No, it's like 3.5.
Okay. When would be 4 years then?
February 2017.
Now, what is being in the entertainment industry? Like, you can be a Broadway singer, you can be a director, a writer.
I am an actress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you started?
Girl vs. Monster on Disney Channel. I've done 2 Lifetime movies.
Lifetime movies?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Which ones? I'm. My mom used to watch them, so
I know.
I'll catch them every now and then.
Girl on the Edge and Stalked at 17.
I haven't heard of those. I'm sorry.
I know. They're
Yeah.
newer ones, so they're even more like,
Cheeseball.
yeah.
Yes. Now I'm gonna look them up and watch them.
And be like, oh, there she is.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny.
What
I
it-
actually get like pictures from like a few friends. They'll be like, oh, you're on. It's funny but weird, but
Yeah. See, I try not to be all up in everybody's business. Like, oh, you're gonna be in this. Like, let me see. I gotta see how funny you look. No, I'm just kidding.
well, no, I haven't watched anything, so it's like I
Really?
need somebody else to
Are
watch
you really
it for
that
me.
self-conscious? Like, you don't want to watch anything that
It's
you're
not that
in,
I'm
or
self-conscious. It's just that like I'll nitpick, like, oh, I could have done this better, and I just think
Oh, okay.
career-wise, it's a better choice.
just not to see it?
Yeah, I mean, we both know I'm very OCD already, so it's
Mhm.
like I'm not gonna put myself through that. Because like some stuff's on like Amazon Live or whatever their online stuff is, and sometimes I'm tempted, but I'm like, nope, not today.
I mean, it is right there. But really, do people go up to you then and just like, hey, I seen you in this? Or like,
No.
have you gotten that yet?
I recently did. It was funny because I work at Los Angeles Center Studios, and we have like 30 million vending machines there. But I go to the one on the first floor. There's no specific reason why. I just like going to that one. It's just like I know it's just 1 floor or 2 floors away, and then just I know my like routine. And so we passed by this like radio station school all the time. And so 2 days ago, I was walking by, and this guy like pulls out, and he's like, "Hey!" And then me and this girl that I work with turn around, and we're like, "Hi!" And he's just like, I know this is going to sound weird, but he's like, I feel like you have a familiar face. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm like always going to the vending machine, like right around the corner. And he's just like, no. And he's like, okay, maybe it's because like we work on a studio a lot, but like, have you been in anything? And I'm like, well, I've been like a few things. And then like to a T, he knew like what like show I was on. And it was really weird. And me and the girl Sarah were like, okay, like this
What
is kind
show
of
was
weird because it's like this big like husky guy, and then it's like this Disney show, so it's like okay. And he's like, don't think it's weird. He's like, my fiance's daughter, and da da da. And like, gets into this whole
all of a
story,
sudden, yeah.
and then she's just like, yeah, okay.
But
I feel like that's the only time that's really ever happened. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you have a familiar face, and I'm not one to be like, oh, I'm like this big actress or anything.
Oh, you might recognize me from this.
Yeah,
this,
I'm not that
this.
type of person, so I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, I get that a lot.
Be that type of person now.
Not yet. One day.
One day you'll be like that.
Well, you know why? Okay, so I'll tell you guys another funny story. So before he moved out here, I was in this movie called Winter's Tale with Russell Crowe and Will Smith.
What?
Okay.
Did you ever meet them?
Yeah, I ran into them a couple times.
Okay.
But
so you weren't in like a scene with them or anything?
no, I
right?
was.
Really?
Yeah. So like super excited, like, fresh into the industry, maybe like a year and a half. So it's like, oh my God, working with these like great people and, great actors. And then I get a like email after like filming and everything, like, like you've done such a great job. It's like that compliment sandwich. You've done such a great job, but we're actually going to edit that scene out. But hopefully we'll work with you again. And so ever since then, I'm just like, okay, like I can tell everybody under the moon that like I'm doing this.
That is so weird. Like I had no idea that it actually existed in the industry until just recently. I was like, dude, they cut a lot of scenes out. Like things that everybody sees on regular TV or would go see in the movie. I had no idea that actually happens.
Well,
and
I feel like it sucks for like the like beginning people that like get like this like breakout role that can change their career, and then I think it's a humbling experience, but it's also like, man, that sucks. Like I worked my ass off to get there, and then
you have that opportunity, and it's just like, no, we're not gonna. That scene that your face, we just can't use it.
Yeah. I mean, and then there's other things like the last couple of days I've been on the set of Girl Meets World and like seeing all the things like how they run and all that kind of stuff. And like you see Ben Savage and like how he started at Boy Meets World and as the main character, followed up for 7 seasons and everything. And now he's like directing Girl Meets World. Like obviously he's still on it, plays dad and everything. But he's like living like his passion, and like he got like so many no's because he didn't work so much after... Boy Meets World. You don't really know him after that.
Well,
and
I mean, I've seen
like,
him.
His face around,
you see his face.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's just like going from that to then like what's
like when
next?
when you do see him, you're just like, oh, hey, it's that guy. From that one other thing. You don't really know his name.
But then you see him working his ass off, like directing and stuff, and you're just like, oh my God, he's like living his dream and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is what, like, no matter what, how small a role is or whatever, because I have like a lot of people that like do extra work and they're like bummed about it, and I'm like, you don't know who you're gonna meet when like you're being an extra and all that kind of stuff. But seeing him like the last couple of days, so it's just like really getting into it, and then like we had a live taping yesterday, and like all like the fans were super excited. And,
really?
Yeah. And
so is that pretty much your most recent thing that you've been working on is Girl Meets World?
It has been, yeah. I think the most recent thing.
I mean, was that the one that had you traveling? I know you went to...
No, we just traveled for fun.
Oh, nice.
you
Perfect.
You have to step out of California for some time,
Yeah. Hey, I just went to Vegas the other weekend, and that was a whole... That's not California over there.
That's actually where our trip started, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Should have ended there, too.
It was going to.
Well, in Texas, I was like, do I even want to come back? Like, we could just...
I know a lot of people who... Strangely, it's all been... Well, probably because I only know California people, but a lot of people go to Texas. Like, they've been just like,
I feel like
I'm either from Texas or going to Texas. Like,
it's not like that big of a transition, I feel like.
It's the desert, hot as fuck. Mexicans trying to get in.
terrible.
Yeah. Sorry. I am Mexican, just so that everybody knows.
Don't get
I
offended.
know. It's all right. I can say it. It's so terrible right now what's happening with all that bullshit.
Yeah, it is. But I mean,
Has that affected your work in any way?
Um,
Do people give you shit now?
yeah. I mean, when I like say something, I have a few girls in my work are like, "Oh, it's because you're white," and I'm like, I'm half Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Like, just because I look white doesn't mean, And then you can go into so much more depth with like the racial killing and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you and I both knows that like my dad is white and he was shot and killed by police in like the 90s. So it's like can't really. So I don't know. It bugs me. I get it, but it bugs me.
Just judgmental people.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're free spirited.
yeah,
and happy
exactly.
For
You
everyone.
there are people out there that are like that, and you just happen
like
to be.
You can't finger point like every single race,
It's weird that would still come up though. Like, I mean, at least for you, because you work in a diverse community, right?
Yeah. Well, and then also, on-set teachers are teaching their like students about like the kid actors about that, and like they got to like a really big topic on set a couple days ago, and I think it's good that they're teaching it, but it's sad like how in depth it got because of the diversity. Like, there's like a couple white kids, a couple black kids, and a couple Spanish kids and stuff like that. And, like, people get so defensive, and it's just, like, these are kids, like, between 11 and 15. And it's just crazy. Because I don't remember any of that when I was, like, 12 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Until recently.
Yeah, I know. You've been trying to get in the entertainment industry for a while, for a long time. I mean, pretty much since I've known you, that's what you've always talked about.
I've just always been really, like, quiet and shy about it, so...
But I knew, and you shared a passion for it, and so like that's why I'm curious to know, like, how does it feel being on, being where you're at now? Because believe it or I mean, whether you see it or not, 4 years, that's being on shows that I know pretty much. When you said Girl Meets World, I was like, fuck, I should have brought my girlfriend because she loves that show. She's like, it makes me so happy, So
it's like reliving childhood, like when you go
exactly,
there.
yeah. And and so I'm pretty sure like that must be something that you're very proud of,
Oh yeah, I mean, and just working.
I mean, come on, I know you've watched Boy Meets World.
Oh,
come
of
on,
course,
see.
I loved Corey Matthews. Like, he was one of my first crushes.
See,
so then like seeing like him be like a great like director, I'm like, oh my gosh, even more so.
Mm-hmm.
But he's short, so not what I was
he's short.
expecting.
So I don't know. I'm not as happy as I thought.
So, like we said, Matt and I have known each other for a really long time. So, I think my passion started when I was 9. And, like, when I started at choir. Remember Sunday choir? That's kind of
was
where...
that it? Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it just, like, it started to shed on me. I was, like, some super shy person. And the only reason I joined choir was to learn how to play piano. And then it just, like, turned into this huge thing and, like, changed me. And, like... Unfortunately, now that I'm older, like I realize, like, man, I'm like so grateful for those women that I worked with, and now they're not there anymore. But and I don't know how to locate them because I don't remember their names. But it started there.
A lot of them aren't there, pretty much. I've gone back. It's not.
It's not.
It's
the
not
same.
the same.
Yeah, I know. It's not even the school anymore.
See, that's how long I haven't been there. Then, like. I can
don't
say
even
that
live
it's
over
not.
here.
It's not like basically. I saw the change of it.
Yeah.
We met at church, so that everybody knows we did meet at church.
Yeah.
So that's what we say when. That's what we mean.
Choir
Yeah,
and-
choir and everything. It was a
Yeah.
church choir. So you could imagine it was just a bunch of old ladies. I'm pretty sure most of them aren't even with us anymore. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yes, it's true.
But yeah, I mean, just that in that time frame, that's a long time.
That's over 10 years.
Yes.
Of just like building it up. So I mean, I first started taking like classes and stuff like that, and like really getting interest when I turned 21.
Really?
Yeah. So I think just because like I've been working and stuff, so like I built like a little more confidence and like.
Once you start drinking, it's like, all right, let's do this. Yeah, I'm just
Up
kidding.
for anything.
Once you're legally able to drink everywhere, pretty much. I think that's what it was.
Well, no, now I'm like, why didn't I start earlier? Like, You know?
And then believe me, if you would have started earlier, you'd been like, man, I started way too early. I should have just waited.
Well, no, and I feel like working with younger actors between like 17 to 20 is like they haven't grown up. So I feel like I was able to grow up because like I worked like my waitress job, went to school, did my thing, and then focused on it, you know? And then I'm still keeping like a really like great like job and position and everything, but while still trying to have it because I'm not ready to like let go of like my comfort yet.
Yeah.
I eventually want to go full time being an actress, but I don't think now's the time yet.
Which is the smart decision. You know, people just kind of want to jump into it.
Yeah.
And see, I mean, you say that you've only been in it for 4 years, but again, I feel like you've been in ever since that first moment where you said, I want to be an actress. I want to be in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You know, so it's been over 10 years, really, that I feel like you've been working at it. And then,
Well, yeah, because then I did like plays at school.
Yeah.
And, like that's where it started. But like asking your parents to pay for like a like $3,000 bare minimum school is a lot. Especially when you and I have so many siblings that it's like, that's a Mexican thing, but
I mean, it can happen, but it's not gonna.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, more than like my parents did a lot of like crazy stuff. Like when I wanted to like learn how to like draw and stuff like that, they did the classes for that. But again, that's like $30 for a Thursday.
Yeah.
And then like buying the like $100 piano, buying the $100 guitar.
I used to take dance.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. But when it's like an actual career investment, they're like, I don't know. Like, is this something you really want? $3,000's a lot.
Yeah, and then that's when they're just basically like, all right, you got to work for it.
So then I turned 18 and I saved every penny. I picked my acting school and paid in full.
Nice.
Because like
what acting school did you go to?
I went to Barbizon and I'm currently working there.
Really?
Yeah.
Barbizon, I never heard of that school.
It's actually been around for 70 years.
Ah.
My teacher was great. I think that's what made everything and like how I like progressed so much because everything she had done, like she had been on like sitcoms, like Disney sitcoms, ABC, like everything that like I knew I wanted out of a career, she had done. So I feel like I learned so much from her and took everything in because it's exactly like the career I wanted. So had it not been the same teacher, I don't know if I would have had the same experience and ended up where I was.
Who was his teacher?
Amanda Tepe. And I still keep in contact with her through her husband. He still is a teacher with us, but they had a kid, and so she's kind of like slowing down and everything.
Oh, okay.
But she was great. Like, you don't even know.
She gave you the fire.
Yeah, she did. And like, she really helped me with like some of my like first jobs that I ever booked. Just because it's like, you need more guidance. Like even Leonardo DiCaprio still has like people that go on set with him and teach him, and as great as an actor that he is,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like still having that person. It really made a difference for me.
Well, I mean, for DiCaprio, I feel like that's kind of something that she's just like, I always want to learn. You know, I just feel like that's
Yeah.
kind of is
Well,
that
I mean,
the kind
I
of
feel
the
like
you know
should be that way,
Yeah.
especially.
See, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you feel that way also? Like, you should always try to be open and try to like, okay,
Yeah, because I mean, like, not one person knows everything, and you're gonna learn something from every person like you interact with. You know?
yeah, exactly. And everybody, in a sense, acts differently too. You know,
Yeah.
like there's obviously roles that you can re-portray, like you know Macbeth and Oliver and all
Yeah,
those
but
great
you also
musicals,
wanna,
and
like,
yeah.
Take it as your own. I feel like.
You know, that's exactly, and everybody kind of has their own twist to it, but it's basically the same person.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being able to like, I think that's the funnest part about acting is like being able to be like a different person almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the people on like Criminal Minds that have been like the same person for 10 years and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But like that's the exciting part is like being able to like explore and like. So there's like two different acting methods. I think the one that I prefer the most is where like you're not building this person, you are this person.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of like the best actors act that way because like you can't talk to them when they're like on set or stuff.
Because they're that person that they're trying to be.
I didn't
Yeah.
think that was true up
Really?
until okay. So have you watched Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know Clay.
Yes.
So he's on a TV show called Hands of God.
Okay.
That's filming at my work. Okay, I ran into him in the lobby, and he was just like this grumpy old guy, like so like not rude, but like very callous and like all this, like, I don't even know, but just think like Clay from Sons of Anarchy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And just like being like, you know, like I really enjoyed your acting, blah, blah, blah. Like typical, you know, when you meet somebody.
Yeah.
And I met him I ran into him a couple days later in like the parking structure, and he's like the nicest guy in the world. Like, and I was just like, what the heck? And then he was just like, it was for the role I was in, and you know, like his character is supposed to be in. I can't say it because it hasn't aired yet, but he's just like, so.
I was this other guy, pretty much.
Yeah, and it's just like I was just in a different mood. Like it was just nothing personal, and I'm like, okay. I was like, I wasn't gonna go around saying you were an asshole, but I was just like, oh,
that's so weird because you know, like some people do run into actors or like you know people that they admire, and when they go meet them, it's just like, oh, this guy's an asshole. Like, what the fuck?
Yes,
if you don't think about it, like if you're
asshole.
catching somebody through an aisleway or the hallway,
yeah.
You know, they could be going to somewhere to shoot. So if they're an asshole to you, it's not really like, you can't take it personal.
But there are some musicians that are assholes.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of musician
and I'm
assholes.
Just like, it's so weird. Like, I've met some of the most popular singers right now, and like, so nice. Like, even if they're going on set, they're going to take like that split second, like, to say hi to you. And again, this is me just running into people because of where I work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then you just meet
Where do
other
you
people that are like, huh?
You work at the school, right?
I do work at the school, but it's on a studio, like a film lot.
Okay, so that's why you're running into all these people.
Yeah, I run into people all the time. And it's just like, it's crazy about like the split like personalities people have because they think they're like here or like higher than others. And then it's just like, well, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
See, you're being real humble about it. You're just like, in a few things. You've already named one thing that is actually pretty relevant right now. That's pretty crazy.
Well, I just feel like I'm not there yet, and I don't think I'll ever like fully like even if I do like have like this great career and everything. I don't think I'll ever.
Have you encountered anybody like that was really nice before, and then they've gone into a couple roles, and they're just like, oh, whatever. Has anyone gone through that transition yet?
So there's not a person I personally know, but this is a person that I work with. So she went to acting school with this guy that is obviously an actor. He had a minor role in the new Daniel Radcliffe movie, Imperium.
That white power one?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
he had, I think she was saying like 4 or 5 lines, and he acted like he owned the world. Like, she's like, he was so rude. And I'm like, because she was in it too. And it's so funny. She's like dreading it to come out because she was just an extra. And she's only like 4'11". So she's teeny. So she looks like a child. And so they said that her face was going to be covered when, like, after she applied and, like, she got it and everything. So she was like, ooh, the KKK, I don't know. And then they're like, your face is going to be covered. Don't worry. Okay. So she gets there, and they're thinking she was, like, older looking, but she looks like a 12-year-old. So they're like, okay, so we're going to do, like, the kid cap. And, like, they got this face shot, and she's, like, dreading it. And she saw the trailer, and she's like, oh, my God, the moment that guy moves, that's my face. And I'm like, okay, well, now you're going to be known as a KKK baby.
Yeah.
And
that is part of your career now. You just need to go off of that, all right?
yeah, I'm just like, just stick to all those, like, white people. And it's so
just
funny.
give up all of your beliefs now.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because, like,
Oh,
she's,
man.
like,
That's
one
so
of the
terrible.
most, like, little, like, you think churchy, like, girl when you meet her, and then you're just like, okay. Okay.
See, that's the great thing about actors, though, is that you can be one completely opposite person of what you really are.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you step off that set, you're just like, hey, everybody, how's it going?
Yeah, and you can be, like, super tight. Or you
Yeah.
can be a complete dick, so.
Oh, yeah. Or you can just let that ego go to your head and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like how I was saying about that movie. Like, Will Smith, super great, super nice. And then Russell Crowe, no. He was so rude. And I'm like, okay. So it's
Yeah,
just
like you try to say hi to him, and he was just like, yeah.
He's just like, I don't talk to people that don't have more than, like, 3,000 lines.
Is that really what he said?
No. But that's, like, how
that's
I
what you
felt.
felt, yeah. Like, you're just an extra.
Yeah.
You'll be
I'm like,
gone
you know,
tomorrow.
you and I talk, right? Like
Yeah.
in the scene we talk.
That's so terrible.
It's great.
He's actually got to interact. Like, yeah, you're not
But
even
then
just
he's
in
rude.
the bath. Yeah.
Crazy.
That ego, man.
Seriously. Today, speaking of like nice people, I was able to like encounter 2 of like the actors from Girl Meets World. The blonde one, and sorry, I don't know that their names really well, but my little sister like loves her,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, oh, hopefully she's not like one of those. You know what I mean? I'm like,
I hope she's not a bitch.
pretty much. I just didn't want to say it because.
No, it's okay.
And she wasn't. She was like the nicest person ever. And I was just like, oh, okay, because I'm gonna bring my little sister to like one of their tapings to like meet them and everything. And I was just like, oh, please don't like ruin it for me. Like, please don't ruin it for me, because it wasn't like on set or anything, and it was just like at the studio. We had like a luau lunch today there.
Oh, okay.
And no, she was like super nice, and I was like, oh, phew. And like she's not one of them. And then I don't remember the other kid's name. He's like one of the main boys on there, but he was okay. He's one of those that's like, I'm up here and people are down here.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever. I don't even.
Ah, man, it's so terrible that really exists in Hollywood. Like, that's still.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a hit and miss.
Yeah.
You know, it's just. I feel like it also for kids has to do with like how they're raised, and like if their parents segregate them, of course they're gonna feel like a little more empowered than others.
Yeah, a
and-
little more hot-headed about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm the best.
Well, and then somebody else was saying today that the people that think they're like the shit make it in the industry because like they think it and they believe it, and that's just what they are. But I work with a guy that like, if you've done something, he's done something like 30,000 times better. If you have one college degree, he has like 12. Okay.
Well, yeah.
He's like legit one of these, right? And
No, I know those kind of people too.
yeah, oh my God, he like, you didn't even know. How much do I bitch about? I'm not going to say names, but.
About that guy.
Yeah.
Quite often.
Because it's
There's
just
something to say almost, maybe not every night, but
almost every night. Because it's
almost
just
every
like,
night. Especially as of lately.
yeah, man. And then.
That's terrible. That's.
Well,
It sucks because like you think you like once you're there, you're just like, oh, it's gonna be great, and then you just have those people that just fuck up your day. Like, it's
yeah,
terrible.
he's definitely one of them. But my friend Joel said that it's because he's like in his early 30s. So he's trying to like get his last kick in like as being an actor. So like every 5 seconds.
Really, is getting in your 30s like you better make it now or you're never gonna?
I think for some people.
Okay.
I feel like if you're like,
'Cause I feel
if
like some-
you're doing
there
it
are
just to
some
get
people-
like famous or money or whatever it is, like that's like your timeline. You think it's based on looks, you don't have like the correct like mentality for it.
Yeah.
But it's like if you have like the true like love and like passion for it, you're just like whatever it takes, you know. Like the little old lady, I forgot her name, that was in Desperate Housewives. She like she passed away a couple years ago. She didn't start acting until she was like in her late 40s or early 40s, something like that.
There's a lot of actors that have been.
You know?
What was his name? I can't remember. He just won an award. I can't remember his
See,
name.
I'm
right
the
now.
same way.
See,
I
yeah.
told my boss, I'm like, I'm really terrible with names. I'm great with numbers.
Yeah. I'm just better with faces. Like if I saw that guy, I'm like, oh, okay, that's who
that
it is.
guy.
Yeah, that's that guy. He's been in this thing. He's been in Spider-Man.
And
See,
now
that's
it's
what I
gonna
want to say.
bother you, right?
Yeah. He was
Tobey Maguire.
He was
he's
Jameson.
I don't know.
His Tobey Maguire's boss.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about now.
Yeah. See.
But I was just like, Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. And I was like, oh, wait, he has to be old.
Are you afraid of that happening to you? Like where people are just like, oh, that thing. Oh, that's where she's in.
No.
No.
I got paid already, so.
Oh, see. I got the paycheck from the motherfucker.
That's terrible. Speaking of, though, so a couple months ago, it was pretty recent. Don't know what happened or why we did it, but we were like Googling like my name to see like what would pop up. Cause I'm curious, you know what I mean? Just in case someone ever does know my name. And
You want to see what comes up first.
yeah, like I want to know. So like majority of it's like pictures and like from like IMDb and like just stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And but one thing that did come up was like a weird like website of like how much money I've made like acting wise.
Really?
Yeah, and like mind me, it has not been a lot, but the fact that it's like out there, I was just like, oh shit, like I really need to like change my like last name or something so that like if I ever do like strike it big and make millions and millions of dollars and never
You don't
work
want
again.
your name, yeah. You don't want your name to be out there.
So I was just like, okay, I gotta figure this out. So then I switched it on IMDb, and then now it's like Melissa and as Melissa Brunel, and I'm like, I was like, now I just made it 10 times worse. I'm
No,
like,
that is her real name.
Because now people are gonna be confused.
Mm-hmm.
She's like texting me while I'm at work. She's like, "What should I make my IMDb name?" I'm like, "I don't know." Like,
So what I did was,
what are you comfortable with?
Yeah.
so I changed my last name, but it's not even like a last name because like you know how a lot of people use their first name and their middle name for stuff like that. I used Ray, and everyone's like, "Why Ray?" And the one person and he knew what it was after was my friend Joel, but it was the main character from the new Star Wars. Because you can't do like Leia because it's like a little off. And I'm like, okay. I was on like this Star Wars binge, you know, grew up on it, and then so I was like, well, and it's just kind of like stuck. But now it's like now I have the as Melissa Brunel stuck on there, so I don't know how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm stuck. I'm branded. I've tried switching everything.
I've
It's
actually
not
noticed that.
necessarily
Yeah.
a bad thing to be branded with your own name.
Well, I just don't want my last name out there for like
Yeah.
financial and like personal reasons, you know.
Just weird people in general. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like you get those weird stalker people, but I mean,
I'm just like,
at the same time, it's like,
who wants to know the like pennies I've made?
credit card thieves.
Touche.
Yeah.
that or just those weird people that are like, oh, this person's worth that much. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Pennies.
Exactly.
let's go stalk them.
No,
Let's get in a car accident with them and make it seem like it's their fault.
Oh.
now I
See,
know
yeah,
what
there's
his
all
mind's
sorts
at.
of crazy guys.
Yeah.
See, he knows.
What do you do on your spare time?
What do credit card thieves look for?
That's actually happened to me like quite a few times when I was with
say quite a
Chase.
few times, but it's at
With
Chase.
Chase?
Yeah, Chase definitely.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Damn, I got chased.
both of us, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna switch banks right now.
But it was like when everybody was doing the.
I think it was
They were
the-
like hooking credit card machines up to gas pumps and.
Oh,
There
yeah,
was somebody
yeah.
when we lived in Glendale that we didn't notice because it was like in our area, but would like buy stuff from like North Hollywood, like get gas or get groceries or whatever. And then like we didn't notice, but I thought it was weird because we didn't buy like stuff, like it just didn't match up. But I'm like, well, we could have in like North Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah.
But then somebody tried to buy like $600 or something like that worth of shit at Kmart. And so like Chase
Jeez.
finally called me and I'm like, no, definitely not at Kmart. So now like they sent me everything. They're like, okay, go through everything. And I'm like, it's hard because I don't want to like give you false information and then like it like come back to me later.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Just send me a new card. Like I'm just gonna don't want to
Yeah,
gamble
let
that
it go.
one.
All right, yeah. That's so weird though that they asked. I mean, because that happened to me once with Chase, and I was just like, nah, I didn't do that one. And then
But
they just gave
it
me
was
a new
like a
card.
period. It was like a
3 months.
6 month period.
No, I would say like 3 months.
You
It
think?
was like consistent. Cause I
Well, anyways, like it was a 3 month period, but there was like 4 different times. Like we had 4 different
Yeah, see,
cards
and that's
sent
why.
to us.
That's
Just-
why you don't want that information out there, though. It's just like,
Yeah, and so I was just like, it got to the point where I was just like, let's just use cash for everything. Like,
Yeah.
this
well,
is
now
getting ridiculous
for
at
that
this
kind
point.
of stuff, I just like applied for like the union for actors, like a bank account with them, so that it's like overseen by everything. So it just seems like the safest bet, and then I'll stick to Wells Fargo for like my basic paycheck and everything like that. But that's where I stand with
Look
that.
at you, though. You're talking about different kind of paychecks. Yeah, this is my regular paycheck. This is my TV paycheck, my movie paycheck.
Well, you never know. You
Yeah.
know, you want to have 2 things open and be consistent.
Dedication. That's what it is. You
have
just
to
gotta.
be
Yeah.
dedicated. You
I
know?
mean, how hard was it for you to even get into the industry? I mean, like we said that you've done all those those years of works. Like, what was it? What was it that first year? That first.
It wasn't
of the
even
4
my
years?
first year. It was my first 2 months. My first 2 months because I went to school like an acting or obviously where I work now, so it was at the studio. So because people are always like, oh, come and tell the story, but it's like a selling tool for them.
I know.
Off the record.
What's the story?
So off the record, it's a selling tool for them, but I'll tell you anyway because it's in conversation. But so since it's like on a Thursday, obviously like the studio is going to be fully running because they don't work. Actors work Monday through Friday. Basically, it's like not a 9-to-5er, but like you can look at it as a 9-to-5er. Because trust me, it is not like they work crazy hours. So I don't want to make it seem like it's easy or like they don't work their hours
I mean,
off.
Most of the time you're there all day, pretty much. Like,
so I was just like, I made it seem like really short, but they're there, like they work their asses off. But I was like had checked in on the 3rd floor, and my class was back on the lobby level. So like when I was coming down, some guy got into the elevator and was just like, just started talking to me because I talked to everybody. And you've never heard the story, huh?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, but probably not.
I just realized that. But that's why I was like, wait, I've never even told you. So I like meet this guy, and he's just like talking to me and just like, so like, what do you do here? Because obviously like Speedo's there, like a whole bunch of different companies, Sky Zone's there. And I'm like, oh, like I'm going to acting school, like new 20 years old. And, you know, and he's just like, oh, great. Like one of our actresses like canceled like last minute. Can you like cold read for this? And I always tell people like, if I had not known what a cold read was, I would have been like, oh, cold read, like going to an air conditioner. Because you know what I mean? Like you don't.
Do I gotta stand on some ice or something?
Yeah, and like you wouldn't understand the term because I get kids that look at me like, ugh. So like I did it obviously, and like he recorded it, and then he asked for like my contact information, and he's like, okay, like I'll get back to you, and I'm like, it was just weird because obviously that's never happened to me because I've only been in I wouldn't consider it in the industry because I'd only been going to acting school for 2 months, you know. So I'd only been going to acting school for 2 months.
You've been there for such a short amount of time. You're just like, this can't be real.
Yeah, I'm just like what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't dawn on you.
What does this weird guy want?
Yeah, and like whenever I tell a story, I'm like, kids, don't talk to strangers. Don't do it. Like, even if you're here. And like mom and dad always like talk to them. But so I go back and tell my teacher, I'm like, this weird thing just happened. Like, he gave me his card, and like I gave her the card, and she like looks it up because she had the IMDb at the time, so she knows how to look up who people are to see if they're legit or not. And so then she's like, yeah, like it's legit. He's like working on this, and this project, and I'm like, oh, like shit, oh cool, you know, like
he's working on stuff. He
yeah, and like what did I even just like audition for? And like, was that an audition? It was in the elevator. Like it took like 20 seconds. It was the weirdest thing. And I look back at it now, and I think it was even more weird because I'm just like, I don't think I would like talk to the person now. Like maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, like that could have been anybody. Like
yeah, you know. And it's not the first time it's happened at the studio though. There's another girl that got like a Taco Bell commercial because their actress called out.
Really?
Yeah, weird. But so he calls me like 3 days later.
All these actresses just falling out of the sky.
Well, no, it's like the prime place to work is going to be at a studio for like a wanting to work actress because you don't know you're going to meet there. So it makes sense. I
mean, obviously, like, you know, that person could have been just scouting out the talent very much like, oh, these kids are going to be the future.
Yeah.
We'll just see what they got, blah, blah, blah. And then, oh, wow, this person looks kind of...
Yeah, it's just, it's weird.
Yeah.
They've got the look.
Yeah. And sometimes...
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it's based on the look, but, like, not, like, the primary, like, gorgeous-looking person that everybody thinks. Like, they look for, like, dorky-looking people. Like, I always wonder, like, what those casting sheets look like. Because I'm like, how do you, like, look for, like, a red, like, ginger person, but then, like, overweight? Like, how does it look? I'm always, like, curious. Like, I feel like if my, like, agent was like, okay, they're looking for, like, this chubby brunette, and they gave it to me, I feel like I'd be offended.
Yeah, that would be pretty offensive.
I mean?
Chubby?
What are you trying to tell me?
Yeah, like...
I feel like in that case, if you're getting picked for something, like,
I
you
guess
don't really
it depends.
care. Like, I know if they were like, yeah, like, this is the role you're going to get, this is how you're supposed to look.
But
Like,
let's be real. If it was me, I'd be offended.
Yeah, I know. If it was you. If it was me, I'd be like, all right, yeah, sick. Like, let's get this over with. Cut me a check.
I'm getting
No.
paid for this gig, right?
But back to the story is that he called me 3 days later, and he's just like, cool, like, you got it. Like, can you be here? And it was in Orange County. And I'm like, shit, yeah, I'll be there. I didn't have drive at the time, so I had to take the bus, and that was a pain in the ass. Because I had to leave at like 4 in the morning and get there and then be there all day.
Damn,
And then,
dedication.
This is the part of the story that I know.
yeah.
I didn't know how you got that.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, I had to take the bus at 4 in the morning from Temple City all the way to Orange County.
Wow.
And it took forever, you know, and then like you're on set forever and you're saying the same shit over and over and over and over. And you just like, oh my God. I don't know.
And this
It's
was
like,
just for a commercial?
No, it's for the movie.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it's weird. I skipped a step.
Really?
Yeah, because like most people like do like not modeling, but like commercial kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then
well, commercial modeling. kinda,
yeah, they go
yeah.
hand in hand. But
Marketing for another company.
yeah, and like I just like jumped. I don't know. It was like perfect timing kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally like skipped a step. So when people are like, "Oh, how hard was it?" and I'm just like, I'm kind of biased because I can't really tell you an honest opinion because of where I went to school, which is where that comes as like a selling tool, is that like I got lucky. And like this other girl that I work with was like, nobody gets lucky. And I'm like, I don't know, that's kind of pure luck to like be in the elevator. And she's like, but it's also based on talent. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I've done a little bit of theater, but it's called
No, come on.
luck
You
and
got to give yourself more
desperation.
credit than that. I mean, because you've obviously were able
No,
to start a career.
I've excelled,
You know,
for
start
sure.
it. You know, at least get. That was your first point, and you've done already multiple things after
Well,
that.
I played a psycho guy's ex-girlfriend.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it was fun.
I mean, again, you just have
We've
that
all
look.
had one of those.
You have that look like you've done it before.
Man. But no, so it was funny. Like I seen a kid like get paid. Remember this? Like this last winter, get called to go snowboarding
yeah.
for the day, and he made like $20K to shoot like a commercial, and like it was just doing something he thought was so fun. And I'm like, man, why can't I do that? Like, and I'm like, oh, I don't really know what I'm good at anymore. I'm like, I don't know if I have that type of talent anymore. Like that's like a normal person talent, and I'm like,
I mean, if you
I
have the
suck at
talent, you know,
snowboarding.
why not get paid for it? Pretty much. I know, because you snowboard.
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
that's why he was like, get me into it. And I'm like, well, it's already casted for. But
It's a hit and miss.
yeah.
Well,
So wait,
then-
you was she talking about you when you said the snowboard commercial?
No.
'Cause you
there's-
pointed,
No.
you pointed at him. I
No,
thought you
I
were
was
like,
like, do you
this kid
remember?
right here.
No, it was like I
wish.
literally saw like a kid get casted for the thing, and I'm like, man, why couldn't you have done it? Like,
Yeah.
we would have been 20 grand richer.
And you don't you snowboard professionally? Semi-professional?
I wouldn't really say professionally. I was like in limbo, kinda.
Mhm.
I was kind of professionally riding, but I was just a resort pro, so quote unquote a resort pro, which is basically I would get like a free season pass and I would get paid to ride, and like that's what I would do pretty much. Like,
Where was that at?
that was in Pennsylvania at a mountain called Round Top Mountain Resort. They don't
Oh,
really
okay.
have like a team or anything like that, but
Mhm.
like that's my home mountain. Like
You're
Everybody
You're a
that-
pro around there, pretty much. It's
Yeah,
like,
like-
you know, people know who
the-
you are when they go up there.
yeah, to an extent, yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, like I can't say much for the generation below me. The generation below me, yeah, I guess they would like know who I am, but the people that are below them, they
Mhm.
probably don't know. I'm just another
He had
old
Hunter
head, I
2.0s
guess.
over
So-
there before he moved.
Oh, nice.
What was that?
The Hunter 2.0s.
Yeah, there's like a little following of like they're probably like 14 or 15 because I moved out here when I was 20. So yeah, they're probably like 14 or 15, and like they just like all dressed like me. Like they wore, they like
They
saw
dug the
how-
style,
yeah,
loved the
they-
sport. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They rode like the same
That's
boards that I
awesome.
would
That's
get.
pretty-
So that was kind of cool. Like I kind of had like a little.
Have you
fan.
ever thought about doing that, like in the entertainment, like doing stunt shows and everything? Because I know
If
they
it
have
ever
to have
fell
that,
into my
like-
lap, I'd probably take it.
Really?
I look.
Right now, I work at a surf shop right now.
Mhm.
The snow buyer. So I buy all the snowboard stuff because they do surf skate snow. It's in
okay.
North Hollywood, a shop called Val Surf. So been around
nice.
for over 50 years now. It's kind of one of the staple shops in the industry because
Mm-hmm.
it was quote unquote the first shop ever, like the first skate shop ever.
Really?
Apparently, at least in California. Might have just been the first shop in California to carry skateboards.
Yeah,
at
I
least.
was
So
gonna
it's,
say,
it's old, but
that's really old. I mean, to be considered that.
yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've been there for about 3 years now, and I've kind of just kept my head down and worked hard and worked my way up. And I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm on my way out.
Have you ever
but,
done a competition or anything?
I used to compete quite a bit. Like when I lived on the East Coast, I would go and compete when I could. My last year there, I wish I could have gone and done it more, but I kind of got into a car accident right before the season started, and it kind of grounded me to my home resort only.
Yeah.
I was kind of limited as to where I didn't get hurt or anything like that, but it just kind of made my transportation situation a little bit harder.
Yeah.
So if I was to go and travel and compete, I would either have to catch a ride with a friend or something that was going that way. Maybe if they were coming up from the south, like Maryland area, they would come and get me, and we'd go up to like New Jersey, New York, maybe Vermont. But since I've been out here, no, I haven't really competed that much. I've kind of just laid low, kind of fell off the grid a little bit. So I'm kind of working on something right now, but it's still in the works. I still got a long way to go before I'm ready to put anything out
Names
there or
to
work
it,
on
yeah.
like another project, like because I was putting out edits for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Since I was pretty young, so I don't know. It's just something I've just haven't quite had the time to do since I've been out here, or just trying to get myself financially stable to be able to go consistently. I'm still in the works of that, but I'm at that point where this year is going to be the year where I'll actually be able to like get back into it and kind of put my face back out there again and be like, all right, well, I'm confident with this. Like this looks good for my standards.
This is how long in the works? How long have you been working on this?
I haven't worked on a project in 3 years, and I had put out like an Instagram like little hit, like, hey, here's a little teaser, a little taste that something is being worked on, because I do have sponsors still that I haven't really put anything out there or gone and done anything. So it's just like, hey, like I'm still riding, like don't
I haven't fallen completely off the grid.
I'm still working on something, like
oh, right on.
Here's a little taste, like,
and then so you said next year, that's pretty much
or
later on this
it'll
year.
probably be like spring 2017 is when that'll officially hit the internet.
Do you have a name for it?
No, not yet. It's still kind of, I want to do something kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with Dylan Reeder at all. He used to skate for Alien Workshop. He now skates for a skateboard company called Fucking Awesome.
Nice.
Love
it.
But he used to skate for Alien Workshop, and then basically his whole story was he got mixed up with like opiates.
Okay.
But synthetic opiates. It wasn't like he wasn't shooting up or anything. He just got addicted to pills and kind of fell off the grid a little bit. And then he got clean and came back. I'm not saying this happened to me or anything, but like he came back and put out something that a lot of people paid attention to. And it was just like, he's back.
Nice.
So I'm kind of going more for that vibe,
Yeah.
but without the, oh yeah, I needed to go to rehab and fix myself, or I needed to isolate
you were
myself
just like,
from
you know what, I
everybody.
had my own thing going on.
Yeah,
Now
it's
I'm
just
coming
like,
back.
hey, like I moved out here and it was a lot harder than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Kind of thing where, but
how long have you been down here?
it was 3 years, June 11th.
June 11? Okay,
Yes.
so 3 years you've been down here, and it's
Yes.
been quite a tough ride.
I wouldn't say quite a tough ride, but it's
LA is
It's been an
expensive and
adjustment.
Pennsylvania's not.
Yeah.
let's just say the standard of living is a lot higher out here than what it is in Pennsylvania. I kind of had it really easy over there compared to what I did over here.
Yeah.
So to start myself up and build a nice
could
little
understand that,
foundation to where I'm comfortable, it took a little bit to get to that point. But I feel like I'm finally at that point. So next year, hopefully, if everything goes as planned and I have the time to...
You keep trying to do what you want to do. And
Yeah, exactly. Like, everything will work out the way I want it to. But
I mean, because there's so many of those people who do come from the East and try coming to LA and trying to so make it and everything.
Yeah,
and
like,
it's
exactly
tough,
what you just
you
said.
know.
It's not even necessarily just for snowboarding or anything. Like it could
It's
be
anything.
someone coming for acting,
yeah.
or to be a singer, or
to be a musician
And
or
there's
anything like
millions
that.
of those a year
It's
that
an
like,
industry city.
jump off the boat.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, people think it's weird that I moved out here to snowboard, but when you really think about it, the entire industry is out here. Like, if you want to
pretty much. Yeah,
make
if
your
you
name
like,
for anything,
yeah,
like,
if you want to be on camera, be filmed.
yeah, exactly. Like it's
This is
not
where
necessarily
it's kinda
Big Bear,
happening.
like Mammoth. You have a lot better chance of
Yeah, exactly.
getting your name out there,
Mhm.
and that's really not that far of a drive if you think about it. It's 5
No.
hours from LA.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
No, yeah, it's
But
right here,
I mean,
pretty
it's the same thing. It's just everybody comes out here because the industry's out here. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter if it's for snowboarding, skateboarding, acting, singing.
it's. I mean,
You know,
not to
It's-
be like, oh yeah, California, but it is California. California has a little bit of everything. They got the cold, they got a nice surf.
It's kind of it's a staple. I mean,
Mhm.
when they
I
think
couldn't
about
leave.
it, they think. I mean,
Didn't.
Hollywood's Hollywood. You know, like
Yeah, but you do have to, like you said, you do have to take that time out of California.
Oh, yeah,
to
I need-
realize,
yeah,
like,
no, exactly. Like
I need it once a year.
Yeah,
yeah,
I would like to go more, but
I'll go
Once
home
a
once a
year?
year, but at the same time, when I'm home, I'm like, and this was what I was telling her on the way over here, because she's like, oh, you miss being home, and kind of giving me a hard time. I was like, I don't really miss being home that much. Like, it's nice to go home for a couple of days, but once those couple of days are over, I kind of get claustrophobic, and I want to go back. And I'm just like,
There's a lot to do out here, pretty
not
much.
only that, it's like
Yeah.
it's so fast paced out here that when you go to like Pennsylvania or like certain places, it's like super slow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like readjusting to like living such a slow pace. It's like, oh God,
yeah, it's
what do I do next?
Yeah, like we'll be driving around at night in Pennsylvania, and she's just like, "There's nothing out here." I was
I
like,
kept
"Yeah, let's go look at
eating."
deer," you know.
Go hiking. I mean, there's
Yeah.
fishing. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
you want to go fishing?
yeah,
Like,
go fishing.
I think the first time she came out to visit, I was like, "Yeah, like let's just go to the river. Let's go out on the boat or something." And I think we ended up doing that, but there's not a lot to do over there. Like over here,
Yeah.
there's quite an array of stuff that you could do. I don't know.
The first day we were out there, though, we were just like done because we like flew
Oh
in.
yeah, this trip
Well,
was
I
a
w-
little different. Like this trip was kind of fun.
I worked 14 days straight before I went. Like my work was like, okay, you're taking this time off. You don't get a day off. And I was just so tired. And then the night before, I broke my phone
Oh,
and
jeez.
like the phone screen. And I knew
California girl problems.
I've never broken my phone before. But I kept telling him and my friend Chris, because I used to work at Verizon, so like I always had like the temper glass on top.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the first time I didn't have it on there, but I knew just like gut instinct. I'm like, I'm gonna break my phone screen. I'm gonna break my phone screen. So I texted him like, hey, I really need to come get like temper glass. Like you need to bring it to me or something. Like I'm gonna break my phone. And we go to Target, and sure as you know, just falls and like the whole screen cracks. And I was just like, what the And so like I'm like super pissed, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like,
And you got this big trip coming up.
yeah, and I'm like, I have this fucked up phone. Like, I know my work's gonna call me. My phone's gonna be screwed up. And we just did running around because like we have animals and stuff like that, so we had to get everything taken care of. And then I ended up talking to like my boss and saying like, hey, I'm gonna go to my sister's graduation, and like kind of planned everything out because she just graduated 5th grade. And and then at her graduation, I broke my purse, but that's a whole different story. And
Yeah,
it was such a bad day.
It's just like one thing after
This
the other.
this happened and then this happened, but not
Yeah.
because of this reason. It's because of another reason.
No, so I end up getting my phone taken care of though, because I told my boss, I'm like, I'm either late or I don't have a phone when I'm gone, and you can't get in touch with me. It's one or the other. So she just like come in whenever. But so we fly, like having to go through like all that, and then like still working, then taking an Uber, and like I don't even remember what happened. We barely made it to our freaking flight, and we fly into New York, and we walked like 1,000,000 miles in New York. It was maybe like 10 or 11. And then it was great though. Like I loved New York. You know, it wasn't how everybody says it. So like everybody's like bitchy, and I'm like, I feel like we have bitchier people here. I'm like, it might be because I'm not driving, but
Yeah,
The
if you're not
people are-
driving in
Yeah.
New York.
The people
That's what
were
I've heard
so
too, yeah.
nice. We were walking through Central Park and we saw like a mini Aussie, and when we came back we got ours. So like we were super excited whenever we see an Aussie. So I'm like, oh my god,
What is an Aussie?
a mini
Australian
Australian.
Shepherd.
Oh, okay.
dog.
I was just like,
Yeah.
what is what?
Like we
Oh.
had one like we had to fill out we bought it from a breeder pretty much like
Really?
fill out an
Oh,
application
okay.
and then
It's a long
That's
story.
Yeah.
yeah. But every
so
time
like
we had
we
seen
saw
one,
him, we'd be like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get him when we come back. So we were on the trip, but you know, the guy wasn't like a dick. But when you go over here and you go and try and pet someone's dog, or like in Monrovia, you pet someone's cat and she freaks out,
Yeah.
and it was just crazy. I'm just like, man, and people say like New York people are mean. They're nice people ever.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Driving in Chicago is a piece of shit, but I
Yeah.
love Chicago.
It's really. I think it's just the fact that it's because it's slightly different. You're just like, oh, at least it's not LA. Like,
That's
they could-
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
You know,
nothing-
like you could be in New York driving and you'd be like, man, I fucking hate the city, but just because you're walking out on the streets.
Well, I
it's
guess I'm not
oh.
like on a time frame really. Like I just
Yeah.
like my time's just
yeah.
open, you know. But I think my favorite place in the country is a tie between New Orleans or Austin.
New
Can't-
Orleans is fun.
I can't leave LA, but these are the places I love, and I'll probably buy a vacation home if I ever get rich and famous.
New Orleans. I've always wanted to go to Mardi Gras.
We gotta go. I've never been either, but I love
want to
New
go to
Orleans.
Mardi Gras. Me and my brother are actually talking about going next year.
We should.
Yeah, it's
you
been
know,
a trip.
it's just the craziest thing. And there's an abandoned Six Flags there. We tried to
is?
go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's super tight. But we
Just
tried
take
to
some
go.
like trippy pictures and everything.
Yeah,
Pretty
you
cool.
can request it through somebody, and I didn't know that you could.
What?
Yeah, you can request to go. But I told him, I'm like, you'd think like New Orleans, like the city would want to make money off of it because obviously when Hurricane Katrina and everything happened, like Six Flags terminated their like million-year contract with them. I'm like, it's already a tourist attraction. Why don't you like spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars to clean it up and
Yeah.
then like charge people to go in?
Yeah.
And you make the money back, and then you'll make more, and then you're giving jobs to people.
The only thing with that, I feel like.
There's so much like fungus and like
Well, no, not
dirt.
so much that. It's just like, if you were to do that, it would kind of almost lose its appeal. Like, oh yeah, like this is kind of fun.
You know, I
like-
know. If you're gonna clean it up, might as well just reopen the park. Like,
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, I don't know. That's just kind of how I see it. But no, she
No,
does.
'cause
She
you
does
can
have a
actually
point. Like,
climb up to like on the roller coasters and everything.
oh shit.
So I feel like that's what makes it like cool, you know? Because like if they reopened it, you can't go take a picture on top of a freaking roller coaster, you know? And like it builds its charm, and you know, like it's tight because like New Orleans is already like that type of rustic and like everything. So I feel like if they reopened it as something else and not like an abandoned Six Flags, but like made it something else and like had maybe like mini like boutiques or like street fair or something there, like they could make so much money.
yeah,
But it's just like
Oh,
putting
yeah.
forth the money, like I get it, but it's just like, you know, they have a shit ton of money. They can make more jobs for their freaking city, have people move in. I wonder how much it costs to live in New Orleans. I feel like Louisiana's cheap.
Probably, yeah. I was
But
gonna say
New-
cheaper than here. That's for
New
sure.
Orleans might be more expensive.
New Orleans is probably.
But then I'm
little
not going
expensive.
to be
Maybe
able to
not
find a
as
job
expensive
out there
as
that
this year, but-
I make as much as I make now. That's the issue.
Yeah.
I can't move anywhere. I'm financially stuck.
See, I know
I have
you
this
come here
bougie
and spend
life.
money to make money. Pretty much, that's what it is. It's like, all
Exactly.
right.
That's what I tell her all the
Yeah.
time. I was like, because this whole SAG thing, I'm just like, you got to spend money to make money. So
Yeah.
Well, because SAG
the
in
extra
itself is
money out there.
$3,000, and that's just
Really?
the initiation fee.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pay to be a part of our group.
But then not only that is like you have to do like 3+ projects under the SAG union, not getting paid, to get these like Taft-Hartley papers in
Yeah.
order to become eligible for the union. It's this nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And then like when you're like SAG eligible, people don't look at you as much because it's like, okay, this bitch isn't gonna put forth the like $3,000, and it's just like, well, we were talking about my $1,500 apartment and the cars I need to get to where I need to like support this career, to my job that's gonna try and help pay for this. I don't know. I just feel like because like a lot of people move here and have like mommy and daddy's help,
Yeah.
and I've run into hundreds of them. That's why I'm like, I know there's more that are like me out there, but like it just
There's way more of those people that are just like,
Yeah.
my
the
dad paid
minority.
for your yeah.
Yeah, and it's so just like,
How does
it
it
frustrates
feel?
me. No, I mean, honestly, it doesn't frustrate me because it's like good for them, like they have the help and that's tight. But I think all in the end, like, love it more in that sense. And maybe I won't. Maybe I won't love it like as much as somebody that like mom helped them with it. Who the hell knows?
I think you do love it more.
I do.
mean,
I love it so
that's
much.
because it's so much more work, and
I just don't like to prejudge people.
I mean,
And I
yeah.
get pissed off because I know like a few people that are like super like bitchy about it and like
Mm-hmm.
mom and dad pay for every. I'm talking about one person specifically that I went to acting school with that she's like 37 years old. Mom and dad pay for everything. She lives with mom and dad and like
37 years old and
Yeah,
lives
she's-
with. Oh my god.
I think she was 37 years old when I went there.
See, mom, don't
She
get
should
don't
audition
get that
for
mad at me,
Snowboarding.
okay? All right, like. There are
But
people
yeah,
who are
but they
37.
They pay for everything, but then she like talks about how like she worked her ass off for her career, and it's just like I've seen you from like day one.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like that's the stuff that pisses me off. Like, don't try and say like you work so hard to like when mom and dad like spoon fed you everything.
Yeah.
Because they knew people and they had money to buy into it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like it's not
It's-
everybody. Don't get me
seriously,
wrong.
it goes back to the. I hear this all the fucking time. Like whenever it's like, oh, you want to get in, well, you got to know people. It's all about who you know. That
It
gets
is.
you. It's
It is. But it's a lot more money than who you know.
Yeah.
Because you can buy into
It's
who
terrible.
you know. I've seen that too.
Exactly. Yeah. You can
But you know,
meet people and just be like, hey, I'll give you $1,000 to let me in your movie.
Yeah, and like, but the thing is that I feel like I've met a lot more people that have moved here and that have worked their asses off, and their parents have helped them with like rent and stuff, but haven't helped them like build a career because they don't believe in it. So like this person's out here like, yeah, mom and dad's helping pay rent and everything, but they're still like working their asses off to get
Mm-hmm.
to here and taking jobs that like don't pay anything while working like this shit job, you know? So it's like I see both sides, but I'm still here just
Just trucking along.
having
That's what
three
you get. Yeah.
siblings and mom and dad can't really
Mhm.
help.
See, I mean, that's
No.
why you work your ass off though. That's why you work your ass off.
Yeah,
like
it
you,
is.
You
I
know.
love what I do, and you know, like even though I do work like a more than full-time job, it's like the times I do get back on stage or like do get, you know,
Mhm.
it's just like it makes it so much more rewarding and like
Exactly.
being like the last 3 days like on the Girl Meets World set, it makes it like so surreal. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm on this like live set. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because I've never worked like most of the stuff I've done has been on location. It's never been on in like a studio.
Really?
Yeah. So like that's just a totally different feeling because it's like you're actually.
So what is it like to be on set? Like it's because there's like not that many people around, or
Well, no, like it's because it's like I feel like it's different because like when I'm going to like when I filmed that movie, I went to a college.
Mhm.
So I was just at a college that I could have went to any other time in my entire life, you know?
oh, okay.
You know
so
what I
it's
mean?
kind-
But
yeah.
then there's like this set that like is built up is specifically for this, and like once the show's done, like the set's done, like once this
Mm-hmm. They break it
episode's
down
done,
and
it's
yeah,
done.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah,
pretty
and
much.
so it's just like there's this whole like different thing where there's like, you know, and then this is in front of like a live studio taping as well. So
Mhm.
it's just like it's just a totally different atmosphere.
yeah, that's so. I can't imagine like that. It's pretty much basically you're performing on stage
yeah.
with cameras also looking at you.
Yeah, and it's just like that's just more rewarding. I mean, not saying that like working on the other movies and stuff that I've worked on
Mhm.
isn't rewarding or any of that, but it's just like a more self accomplishment and knowing like
Mhm.
my goals are getting like more surreal and like they're actually
It's
like happening.
it's actually happening.
It's
you're
like a
being
watch.
there.
Like every little like needle and like gear, like no matter how small or how big, like helps. You know, it
Yeah.
helps the clock go. And once like one thing stops working, obviously it all stops working.
Mhm.
But no matter how big or how little it is, it's like it still matters.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the only way I could like describe how I feel about acting because obviously you could see that I'm very like enthused and love it and everything.
Mhm.
But if I was like on an extra, like as an extra, I would still like be super excited. You know, still get super
You'd-
excited because
yeah.
it's still like it's still being on a set.
It's-
You're meeting new people. Like
I mean, you're experiencing the dream
Yeah.
pretty much. That's what it is. It's
Yeah,
like-
so that's why I'm like, don't get, again, like I said before,
so don't get
butthurt.
discouraged. Yeah, don't feel like just because
Yeah.
there are people out there that are going to try to put you down, you should be put down. I mean,
It's
you've
weird,
got
though.
you've got what you love, and you want to keep going as far
The
as
one
you
thing
can.
I
yeah.
won't do acting wise is like legit theater.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I don't
Why
know.
not?
I don't know.
I
I
asked
just
you the same question.
and I'm just like,
Same response.
Yeah, right.
there's no specific reason, but like, I've had a couple auditions and I'm like, no, and I feel like
She,
Really?
she looks
People in
down
front
on
of
it.
no,
you?
I don't look down on it. I'm just like, no, it's because like there's two different types of actors. There's like a TV film, and then there's like a theater actor.
Mm-hmm.
And like my goal and like my dream isn't to be like a theater actor. And like,
Yeah.
it's not that I look at them differently or anything. It's just that
That's
it's
just not
just
what you
kidding.
want to be. Yeah, that's just not what you want to be.
yeah, and then like I really don't like performing in front of people. I don't. I hate it. You know what I mean? Like being around like you're like the cinematographer and like all that kind of stuff is different.
You don't see their faces.
Yeah,
That's
you
what
know,
it
I don't pay
is.
attention to them.
Yeah.
It's like, and then like again, it's like you're in this character and whatever. But when there's like this whole live audience, you're like, if I fuck up, like I'm screwed. Because even like live tapings, like if I screw up, they're just gonna retape it.
Mm-hmm.
But like on stage, that scares the shit out of me. I'm like,
Because
hell.
yeah, if you fuck up, it's
Yeah.
there. It
Yeah.
happened, and you can't.
and I'm like, and
you
everybody
can't
is
go
gonna-
over it.
Yeah, when I first moved out here, and it was just like we only had my car, and she was going on auditions and going and taping certain things. She was just like, "You have to wait in the car."
Yeah.
She's like, "Or go drive somewhere, go do something else."
Like,
I'll
all
text,
right,
I'll text
see
you when
yeah,
I'm done.
I'll see you later.
You're not allowed to watch me. I was like,
Specifically, I was on
all right.
All right, yeah, sorry.
a movie that's actually out on Redbox called Silent Cry Aloud. And it was when we were filming that, and he could have sat inside, and I'm like, no, you can't sit inside.
Aw, I would have just snuck inside.
I don't know. It's just like, you know, and I won't sit, like, if he wanted to watch it, I wouldn't sit there. It's just, I don't know, I'm weird. I don't know if there's other people like me.
I'm
sure
sure
there
there's
is.
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people like that. Like I mean to the point that where they're like, no, I don't want to do something like that because that's a possibility where I could see myself, but it doesn't bother you.
Yeah, no, it bothers me beyond belief. Like,
But no, I'm saying it doesn't bother you to where you're not going to be like not to the point where you're going to be like, I don't want to act anymore. Like
no, I mean, if I watched it, I might be like, oh my God, I'm a horrible actress.
yeah, she always said that if her family ever put on a movie that she was in,
I go take a shower.
she would go take a shower, or she would leave the room pretty much. She was like, I would leave the room.
I don't know. I feel like
I'm gonna like just text it to her. Just feel like this is what I'm watching.
no, that's fucked up. I feel like if there's anything that is like my dream role or something, like I feel like maybe I'll watch it. Okay, so this is a weird thing, but I've always wanted to play a cop. And I can't, like, I will never get typecasted as a cop just because I look younger.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been trying to make myself look older because
Just work out, just lift a bunch. You'll just be that
I'm
buff,
just-
buff police woman.
no. So then I found out yesterday that somebody that works in our Chicago office, this is my main goal for like from currently like a month ago.
Yeah.
I said, okay, from this point on for exactly a year, my main goal for acting, I don't care about anything else, but I want to be on Chicago PD.
Hey.
So like it's a goal, you know?
Yeah.
And I found out that somebody in our Chicago office, like a few of them have worked on it already, and one of them knows like a casting director that cast for it, and they're like, Chicago's not like LA, Melissa. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, there's not like thousands of actors out there. There's not like millions of casting directors.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, there's 3 casting agencies. And I'm like, oh shit,
shit.
really? I'm like,
Toss your
oh
name
my God.
in.
I'm like, I could do this. And then I told my boss and like his family, because like I'm on this thing with them, is that like before I like moved up, I was like, okay, I will work hundreds of thousands of hours, whatever you want me to do. As long as when I get something, you give me like the lenient time to be able to do what I want, because they know my goal in life. And my boss, him and I are like super close, and he was just like, okay. So then he's not really in the picture anymore, so I had to tell his mom. I'm like, okay, this is what mine and Anthony were saying. This is our agreement. Like, I will work and do whatever the heck he wants, like, at any hour of the day. And all you have to do is, if I get something, let me go. And they're like, yeah, do it. And then so a couple weeks ago, before I had left, I was applying to agencies in New York because I was going to be out there. And like if they wanted me, I'd be out there. So it made sense. And Chicago and Austin. And she's just like, we have offices all over there, Melissa. And they always like say it in that tone, like I'm retarded.
Yeah.
And they're
if
like,
you didn't know this, which you obviously don't.
They're like,
it's
we
there.
have apartments over there. Because they do. They have like
Yeah.
apartments at every location. And she's like, if you get something and you need to go over there, you just go. Like, we'll book a flight. You'll work from that office. And ever since then, I'm like, shit, sick. Like, now I'm going to go, like, do all these things on the East Coast.
I'm ready. I can do it.
Because, like, a lot of people or a lot of, like, agents and stuff, they don't want you to, like, apply if you're not local or anything. Like, can't get there in, like, X amount of time. So I've never applied for anything. And now that I'm like, oh, shit, we do have, like, a studio out there and, like, a place for me to stay and, like, live and be okay. And I'm like, so now I can actually do this bullshit.
Wow. See?
It all works out. But my goal...
There's all those people, though, that like, oh, yeah, I tried to do this, but I couldn't because, like, you...
Yeah, you're,
It's
like,
just-
limited,
Yeah.
you know? Well, because it's expensive to, like, fly to New York alone, you know what I mean, for a round trip. And then, like, living and sleeping and eating and all this stuff is just crazy. To, like, get, like, a possible, you know, maybe. So that's where I stand with all that right now. That is my main goal for the next year is Chicago PD. So
There
I'll
you
keep
go.
you in the
Hopefully,
loop.
yeah. Hopefully it happens for you. I feel like it will. I thought seriously, I felt like I was like at the end of the story, you're gonna be on it. Like, but
I'm hoping.
keep that
Knock on
dedication. Yeah,
wood.
keep that. There you go. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
No
I mean, it's already
problem.
that
Glad
time.
you
I
asked
should.
me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, thank you for giving us the tour of
The crazy ass LA life.
the entertainment industry. Bum, bum, bum.
Well, luckily for you, I'm moving back from West Hollywood back to over here.
Really? Ah, there you go. See,
You guys will see me
It's
more
not- yeah.
often.
You get away from the LA craziness. I mean, I don't think I can handle it. Sounds
It's
like
kinda
you're
crazy.
handling it pretty well. I guess.
Hollywood's
just-
a trip.
I had the
That's-
most.
Would you rather be out here, like where it's a little slower?
Yes.
And- yeah.
I had the most luck when I lived over here, acting wise. Like
Really?
most of my stuff, yeah. And I just had like I paid 3 times the amount of rent I was paying over here, and if anybody doesn't know, we're in the Pasadena area.
Which is not even that far. So if you're thinking about it, nope.
Yeah, it's not, and I'm just like, okay, I need to move back over there. It's like a good luck charm or something.
Yeah, definitely is.
And I have a zoo. So
Good old. See.
I have to move to a house.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. We'll end it on this note. Do you want to have anyone follow you at a specific place?
You guys can follow me on Instagram, and I am at the Daily Meliss, and I'm the same thing at Twitter, but I don't pay attention to Twitter that much.
Good. I just got a Twitter, and honestly, I'm kind of regretting it. Hunter, do you want to have anyone follow you anywhere?
My Instagram's kind of complicated to follow. Just 'cause
Follow
of-
me and you'll see him.
Yeah, I mean,
There it
you want to
is.
look it up? It's Hunter, and then it's 4 underscores, and then Miller.
Nice.
So
Confuse everything.
that's my Instagram.
There you go.
But I don't have a Twitter or anything like that. I never really got into it. I had one, but I just never really got into it. I didn't understand it. So
Yeah, that's how I'm kind of. I'm
Yeah.
barely making
He
that
got it to yell at me to get
transition.
off of it.
Well, you did give me a song. I guess this is your song right now.
Yeah,
We'll
it's
end
my
it on your
current-
song, on your jam right now.
Yay!
Thank you guys for so much for coming on and everything. I'm
thanks for
sorry I
having
couldn't have
us.
been a better host. I feel like I was really quiet, but again, you had all these cool adventures and stories going on, so we'll just end it on that.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
When you wake up, cobwebs on your eyelids, stuck in rigor mortis. Whoa. it going till you hit the ocean and you turn Californian. Whoa, you don't have to have the answers. Don't you worry, don't you worry. It's gonna be alright if you're on a sinking ship. The California kids will throw you a lifeline. And if you're up all night thinking about something you did, the California kids will show you the sunshine in your bare feet in mid-January, swimming in the mystery. Whoa, second guessing almost everything. Don't you worry, don't you worry. It's gonna be alright if you're on a sinking ship. The California kids will throw you a lifeline. And if you're up all night thinking about something you did, the California kids will show you the starlight. All your old friends chilling back in Boston, you never forgot them. Whoa. It's gonna be alright if you're on a sinking ship. The California kids will throw you a lifeline. And if you're up all night think about something you did, the California kids will show you the sunshine. The California kids will show you the starlight.
Damn, Rivers. Back at it again with the Ray-Bans. Damn, Daniel.